Hello everyone, you're welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, you're welcome. My name is Habib. I'm a pilot and a professional flight instructor. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 things you need to be successful in flight training. So the 5 things you need to be successful in flight training. If you're serious about becoming a pilot, there's 5 things I feel you really need to know in order to become successful. So I've been in the flight training industry for about a decade now, and over this period of time, I've seen what separates pilots that are successful from those that are struggling through flight training. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you insights from my own personal experience as well. Just, shed some light on what happens in the flight training industry. That way you can come in prepared and also very, very informed. So you'll be able to make the best use of your flight training journey. So let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is full commitment. So you need 100% mental dedication when you're going through flight training, because flight training is not something you can commit to halfway. This is because there are days where you face delays due to weather. You also have like maneuvers that are difficult for you to master, or even the knowledge areas for your written test. It may be hard for you to study up on all those things. So all this might feel like an obstacle, and if you're not fully committed, you might want to quit through your flight training journey. So for me, for example, when I was going through my flight training journey, I had days where I was struggling with my landings, I was struggling with a few maneuvers, and even with regards to studying, I was really struggling with understanding the federal aviation regulations, because it's from a big fat book. You really don't have to know everything in the book, but I was struggling to understand some of the things I needed to know. So if you don't have full commitment from day one, it's easy to quit. So this is why this is important for you to have full commitment. For me, my dedication to my flight training journey made me push through all these obstacles. And that was why I was successful through my flight training journey. So these things will come up, that will discourage you. But, if you commit from day one, regardless of whatever happens, you're going to be fully committed to your goal of becoming a pilot. So this is why full commitment is required. And this is the first thing I want you to master on your path to becoming a pilot. So the second thing I'm going to talk about is your financial preparation. So let's talk about the reality of money here, because flight training costs money. To be honest, there's no way around it. So you need to have a solid financial plan in place, and also be wary of, programs or different tactics to help you save some money towards becoming a pilot. Just because usually this will typically leave you with some skill gaps and also some knowledge gaps, and will just end up, costing you more in the long run. So you need to be wary of things like that. I'm not going to name any names or say anything, but just be wary. Make sure you go to a school that has like a good structure in place. It could be Part 61, it could be Part 141. There are Part 61 schools out here that have like good structures in place that can help you successfully become a pilot. Also, look into schools that have like different financial options for you to really, take advantage of that to pursue your flight training, so you really don't have to worry about money. Because also, if you have to worry about money, then you start and stop in your training. That could be a bad thing for your training as well, because consistency is key and it's important towards your journey to becoming a pilot. So over here at Aero Global Aviation Academy, we actually have a program called the Airline Pilot Program. So the Airline Pilot Program is designed to help you become a pilot if you have zero experience. So we also have help people that already have their private pilot license also go all the way to becoming a flight instructor. So you can, successfully also build your hours to becoming an airline transport pilot. So we have like financial solutions in place that can also help you achieve this goal, so you can really just focus on your flight training journey and not have to worry about money. So if this is something you're interested in, feel free to check the link in the description below, and feel free to reach out to us as well if you have any questions. So that's the second thing, guys. You need to have a solid financial plan in place to help you be successful in your flight training journey. So the third thing I'm going to talk about is partnering up with a good flight instructor and a good flight school. So regardless of whatever school you go to, either Part 61 flight school, Part 141 flight school, you're most likely going to have a dedicated personal flight instructor that's going to be in charge of your training. So it's important for you to establish like a good relationship with your flight instructor. So if you don't like this person, just let your school's management know so they can switch you to somebody that you get along with, because your flight instructor and your relationship with your flight instructor through your flight training journey is very, very important. Like, I cannot overstate this, because a flight instructor or a good flight instructor is just not somebody who knows how to fly an airplane. They need to be a good teacher. So they need to be able to explain things to you in a way that makes sense to you. So these are things you need to look out for. And another mistake I see students do through flight training is they do not take the time out to shadow their flight instructors. So with me, for example, I'll give you guys a tip here. When I was going through my flight training, I made sure I shadowed my flight instructor. So I sat in on other lessons he was conducting just to watch, how they do things and just to pay attention. And even on my own lessons as well. Aside from me observing the things they were teaching me, I made sure I just watched how they were doing things just to make sure I absorb, the contents of what they're teaching, and also just how they actually passing it over to me for me to learn. So these are things I'll suggest, you pay attention to, and, develop that relationship with your instructor. So, you should be able to, sit in on their other lessons. That is, if your school allows that. Sit in on other lessons, try to like, pick up on things they do with other students as well. And I promise you, this is really going to help you. For me, when I did this, it just put me like years ahead of where I was supposed to be. So by the time I became a flight instructor, it was like an easy transition for me. And it's a very, very useful thing to do. So that's the third thing, guys. Make sure you partner up with a good flight instructor and a good flight school. Make sure their reviews are good, and you should be good. So the fourth thing I'm going to talk about is creating a dedicated study time. So flight training isn't just all about flying. You really have to hit the books. So if you're planning on becoming a professional pilot, really there's no shortcut on this. You really have to hit the books. So think about it from like your private pilot certification all the way to your ATP certification. You're going to be getting tested every step of the way. So you really need to create a dedicated study time to make sure you study and know all these topics from the beginning. So the good news is most of these topics really don't change, from like aerodynamics to like the regulations you need to know, weather theory. All these things really don't change much as you go through your training. So if you make that investment in the beginning to study a lot and know most of the things you really need to know, all you have to do moving forward is just maintaining everything you already know and just adding a few more things here and there. Like me, for example, in the beginning of my training, I tried to dedicate my time to study some of these things. I wouldn't say I was great at it, but I tried my best to, make sure I learned. So the more you go, you just, study a little bit more, and everything will become a little bit more clearer as you go through your training. So if you create that dedicated study time, it's really going to make your life easy, because all these topics, they really don't change much. Like I said earlier, you just have to maintain and you should be good. So if you're a coffee person, I'll suggest, for your dedicated study time periods, make sure you get some coffee, because you're going to need the focus. So this is the fourth thing you really need to be successful in your flight training. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is celebrate your wins. Like, you need to celebrate your wins. So I know flight training is so intense that you get so caught up with the pressure of progressing that you actually forget to celebrate your wins. Through your flight training journey, there's going to be different milestones that you actually achieve that are going to be proud moments for you, such as like your student solos, your solo cross country flights. Like, it's not easy to go from not being able to fly an airplane and then now, flying an airplane all by yourself, and, also flying out to a whole nother airport and landing the airplane by yourself. So these are huge achievements that you need to celebrate. Also, obtaining your instrument rating, your commercial pilot certificate, these are things you need to celebrate along the way. So the best pilots I know aren't just focused on getting to the airlines as fast as possible. They actually focus on all the fundamentals, or like all the things I mentioned in these videos, to help them become a well-rounded pilot. Because if you get to the airlines, people interviewing you, they can see through all these things, and they can see if you actually really embody the whole process of becoming a pilot. So this will help you just have like a long career for years to come as a pilot. So it's very important for you to, celebrate your wins, develop a good relationship with your instructor, do all these things, have like a solid financial plan in place so, your flight training can be as efficient as much as possible. So these are the things I feel like will help you become a pilot, guys. If you got any value from this video, please give me a like. Feel free to share the videos with anybody you feel is planning on becoming a pilot or that's currently going through their flight training journey. I'm pretty sure this will really help them out. And also, if you already have experience with flight training, if you're a professional pilot, feel free to share your experience with us in the comment section below. I'm sure the viewers are really going to appreciate, hearing from all you experienced people as well. So thank you for joining me in this video, guys, and I'll see you on the